Okay, hello. Ang lecture natin ngayon under ng General Psychology, i-discuss natin yung issue ng intelligence. Many years ago, nagawan ko na to ng lecture, pero masyado ng luma, gusto ko bago naman. So I made the 2023 version of this lecture. This is a two-part series as you can see. Part 1 na to. Yung next na i-release nating lecture will be Part 2 on intelligence. Ito yung key verse natin for this lecture from the book of Ephesians. Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise but as wise, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. Ang keyword dito is the word wise, and in our language, highly related yung word na wise sa issue ng intelligence. So as you will see, as I go along in the lecture, mako-connect nyo yung dalawang ideas na yan, no? Intelligence at saka yung wise. Ito yung mga questions na gusto kong sagutin in this lecture. What does it mean to be intelligent? Yan yung focus natin for this lecture. And then the part 2, I'm going to discuss how do we nurture intelligence? Paano ba yan pinapataas? So, focus lang muna tayo sa number 1. So, what does it mean to be intelligent? I always do this. The best way to do this, pupunta tayo sa APA website, punta sa online dictionary, ito raw ang intelligence. The ability to derive information, learn from experience, adapt to the environment, understand, and correctly utilize thought and reason. Siyempre, kung college student ka, ayaw mong i-memorize yan ng word for word, mahirap. Tsaka medyo mahirap din intindihin, very technical. So let me just summarize this in a simpler version. Ang sinasabi lang nung definition, ang intelligence meron yang 2 core skills. Ito yung nagiging basihan natin para masabi natin na merong signs of intelligence ang isang tao. So if you go back this definition, ano yung two core skills na yan? A person's ability to solve problems and answer questions. That's it. Basta yung tao, kaya niya yung dalawang yan. Solve problems, answer questions, no matter how simple those problems or questions are, meron siyang certain level of intelligence. Okay? So sa Tagalog, sumolve ng problema o lumutas ng problema. And then answer questions, sumagot ng mga tanong. So given that definition of intelligence, tignan nyo nga kung kayo ba meron kayong intelligence. Sana meron, no? So, paano mo malalaman o paano mo palalabasin yung intelligence ng isang tao given this definition? Bigyan mo ng problems to solve and questions to answer, which we will do right now. If you need more time, pwede nyo i-pause yung video to answer the following questions. Number 1, if today is Wednesday, what was yesterday? Number 2, if today is Wednesday, what will be tomorrow? Pause nyo na lang if you need more time to think. Number 3, Mary's mom has 4 kids. April, May, June, and then number 4, intelligence also includes numerical problems. So hindi lang puro verbal problems. Ang intelligence, nako-cover din nito yung numerical problems like in mathematics. 3 times 7 minus 2 minus 4 plus 3 times 2. Ilagay nyo sa comment section ang mga tamang sagot. So again, let's not miss the point, no? Ano ang point? Bakit ko pinakita yung mga questions and problems na yan? Because as you solve these problems, you are using your intelligence. So paano mo malalaman kung may intelligence ka? At least isa dyan, meron kang nasagot ng tama, it's a sign that you are intelligent. Believe it or not. Hindi naman kinakailangan sobrang hirap ng problema na masolve mo para masabi mong intelligent ka. No matter how simple the problem is, no matter how simple the question is, basta nasagot mo ng tama, nalutas mo ng tama, sign na yan na merong intelligence sa'yo. Okay? So some other quick information about intelligence. Number 1, in psychology, nasusukat ang intelligence. Hindi yan nakabase sa itsura. Sa culture kasi natin, minsan, dinadaan natin sa itsura kung mukhang matalino or hindi. Kapag makapal yung salamin, naka-long sleeve, naka-necktie, matalino to. Pero pag naka-t-shirt lang, nakamaong, ang mukha tong hindi matalino, hindi totoo yon. A more objective way para ma-measure ang intelligence is gagamitan mo ng psychological test, specifically IQ test. Ayan. Kaya tayo may mga IQ test. Ito yung mga tools na ginagamit natin para sukatin gaano katalino yung tao. And going back to the definition of intelligence, now you would know ano ang laman ng isang IQ test. Sa isang IQ test, maraming mga questions, maraming mga problems na dapat isolve. Kasi yung overall na kakayanan mo to answer those questions and solve those problems will determine kung ano yung level of IQ mo. And by the way, I want to emphasize on that, no? Level of IQ. So, intelligence is not a matter of either or, black and white, meron or wala. Meron tayong degree. May certain level of or certain degree of intelligence kung gaano ka katalino, and those IQ tests will help you identify kung gaano ka katalino. Depende yan sa IQ score mo. So, your IQ score will determine kung gaano ka katalino. May mga titles tayo dyan. In terms of how smart you are you very superior? Superior, high average, average, low average, borderline, extreme below. Different IQ tests will have different labels. May ibang IQ test gumagamit ng genius, may iba gumagamit ng gifted, pero marami mga negative labels, no, on low intelligence na hindi na dapat ginagamit. Anong tawag doon? Politically incorrect na. So, wag nyo nang gagamitin yun. No? Kayo na lang mag-research kung ano yung mga words na yon. But one of those words, it starts with letter I. Ang second letter is D. Ang next letter or last letter is letter T. O, kayo mag-research kung ano yung word na yon. Huwag nyo nang gagamitin yon. Politically incorrect. Maliwanag. So, medyo nag-psychological measurement na tayo, ha? Again, ano ang purpose ng IQ test? These are tools to measure intelligence, specifically, gaano katalino ang tao. Now, a little bit of psychological measurement na simulan na rin kasi natin, no? Ang formula ng IQ is mental age divided by chronological age times 100. If you take psychological measurement or kung panoorin nyo yung psych measurement lecture ko, in-explain ko doon kung bakit ganyan ang formula ng IQ. And given this formula, ano ang normal IQ? At least an IQ of 100. Bakit 100 ang normal IQ? Because that, kapag ang IQ mo is 100, it meant na yung mental age mo kapareho ng chronological age mo. So kung halimbawa, ang mental age mo is 8. Tapos, chronological age, ito yung age mo sa birth certificate, 8 years old ka na sa mundo, o di tama lang, ibig sabihin yung mental age mo, tugma sa chronological age mo. 8 over 8 times 100 is 100. Kaya yung IQ na 100, it assumes na tugma yung age ng katawan mo sa takbo ng pag-iisip mo. And that's good. That's normal, no? So, dyan na lang magkakaiba-iba yan, no? Yung mental age and chronological age. So, mag-iiba yung IQ score kapag mas mataas yung mental age over chronological age. Halimbawa, 18 years old yung mental age. Parang 18 years old ka mag-isip, pero yung katawan mo, pang 9 years old lang, genius ka. So, yan yung mga IQ scores na lalagpas talaga ng 100. And vice versa. Kapag yung mental age mo naman, mas maliit kumpara sa chronological age. Mental age mo, let's say, is, tawag dito, mental age mo is 8. Ang chronological age mo is 25. Mas mababa talaga sa 100. And in that case, medyo may problema when it comes to intelligence. And those are the scores na sasabihin sa'yo na yung tao merong certain deficiencies. Specifically, ano ang tamang term na pala dyan? Intellectual deficiencies or intellectually challenged. So, wag nyo nang gagamitin yung iba pang mga words other than that. No? Kapag ganun kababa yung IQ score. To be more specific, according to the DSM-5, mas mababa sa 70. Kapag ang IQ mo mas mababa sa 70, yan yung mga taong tinatawag na merong intellectually challenged. Alright? Number 2, other than intelligence is measurable, everyone is intelligent but differ in levels or degree. Medyo na hit ko na nga yan sa previous point ko. So, lahat tayo matalino pero iba-iba tayo ng degree ng katalinuhan. Kapag nasagot mo yung 3 times 3 times 6, matalino ka ba o hindi? Of course. Pero ang isang tao na ito ang kayang sagutin na problema, ikumpara mo naman sa 3 times 3 times 6, mas complex ito kumpara dito. Tanong, pareho ba silang matalino? Yes. Pero yung tao na kayang sagutin yung problema sa kanan, mas matalino compared to the person who can just answer this problem. So the complexity of problem, the complexity of questions that a person can answer, dyan nakasalalay yung degree of intelligence. And again, paano mo malalaman kung gaano katindi, gaano kagaling yung intelligence mo, gagamitan mo nga ng IQ test. Meron din tayong tinatawag na animal intelligence. So wag nating isipin na ang mga tao lang yung matatalino. After all, animals are also created by an intelligent being who is God Himself. So along the way, may mga traces pa rin yan ng quality ng Diyos such as intelligence. And we have an entire book on this. Marami na mga libro na na-publish that talks about animal intelligence. One book would be yung kay Edward Thorndike. If you are interested learning about animal intelligence, magugulat kayo na ang mga hayop compared sa tao, although mas matalino ang tao, pero maraming overlaps, maraming pagkakapareho when it comes to intellectual capacity. Other than animal intelligence, ang usong-uso ngayon, meron din tayong tinatawag na artificial intelligence. Kasi yung intelligence ng hayop, yung intelligence ng tao, natural yun eh. Parte yun ng creation order of God. Pero yung artificial intelligence, ang tao na mismo gumawa ng intelligence. Specifically, prinogram ng tao yung mga computers na magkaroon ng intelligence. Pero ang pinaka-essence ng artificial intelligence is it helps us overcome the limitation of human intelligence. Kasi yung intelligence ng tao may limitation in terms of the following: rehearsal. Gaano tayo kabilis matuto? Ang normal na tao, we talk about this in the psychology of learning, bago tayo matuto, it requires a certain number of repetitions. Dapat uulit-ulitin mo. And that takes time. Pwedeng 1 buwan, pwedeng 3 buwan, pwedeng 1 taon. Speed of processing. Iba-iba rin ng tao dyan. Yung iba talaga mabilis matuto, mabilis makamemorize, yung iba mabagal. And of course, volume. May mga tao, mabilis silang makagets ng mga principles na marami. Pero may mga tao, ang kaya lang mag-gets na principle, 1 lang per day. So sa 1 week, yung isang tao, kaya niyang matuto ng 7 different principles. Yung isa naman, 100 different principles in 1 week. Because we vary in our intelligence, highly limited. Pero ang artificial intelligence, ino-overcome niya lahat yan. Kaya gumawa tayo ng mga machines, no, that can learn new skills in a matter of seconds. Ang bilis mag-process ng information. Ang daming information ang kayang matutunan ng computer. 'Di ba? Yun yung kayang gawin ng computers na hindi kayang gawin ng natural intelligence ng tao. So, sino mas matalino? Yung computer o yung tao? Ang sagot dyan, yung computer. Pero, when it comes to existence, hindi mag-e-exist ang mga computers kung hindi dahil sa intelligence ng mga tao. So, yung existence ng artificial intelligence is dependent on the intelligence of human beings. So, in that way, mas matalino pa rin tayo sa artificial intelligence. Okay? Pero, syempre, wag natin kakalimutan, other than animal intelligence, artificial intelligence, marami mga psychologists hindi ito ina-acknowledge, but I think it's worth acknowledging this form of intelligence. Meron tayong tinatawag na divine intelligence. Ito yung kakayanan natin to solve problems and answer questions that God help us to solve and answer. Galing sa taas, galing sa Diyos yung intelligence na yan. After all, ang source ng intelligence is the author of intelligence who is God Himself. Sabi yan sa Book of Psalms, "Great is our Lord and mighty in power, His understanding has no limit." So the source of intelligence is the author of intelligence. Malaki ang implication nito, itong divine intelligence na to, later on sa part 2 when we talk about paano ba pinapataas yung intelligence natin. Okay? So, let's just leave this right here. Mamaya, or in part 2 of my lecture, pipick upin natin yan. So, after everything I've shared about what intelligence is, let me close the lecture by sharing with you the 2 implications on intelligence. Ano ngayon? If intelligence has something to do with how we solve problems and how we answer questions, ano yung mga dapat nating tandaan being an intellectual being ourselves? Okay? Ito yung mga implications niya. No, number one, sana ma-realize nyo that intelligence is an asset. Kapag magaling kang mag-solve ng problema, magaling kang sumagot ng mga tanong, gaganda ang buhay mo in general. Marami mga magagandang event ang mangyayari sa'yo. Like what? Nakakapasa ka sa mga exams. And in our society, kapag napapasa mo yung mga exams, nakakuha ka ng mga certifications, na mga licenses, tumataas yung value mo, which later on, pwedeng matranslate yan sa pagtaas ng socio-economic status mo. Kaya sa totoo lang, nakakayaman talaga ang intelligence. Napapataas ng intelligence yung value mo in the society. Diba? In our society, intelligent people, those who can solve complex problems and answer complex questions are paid well. Pampataas ng sweldo yan. So kung gusto mong tumaas ang sweldo mo, anong gawin mo? Pataasin mo intelligence mo. Ano pa? Pag matalino ka, mabilis kang makahanap ng trabaho, you excel at work, you have the ability to create wealth, marami kang mga ideas na naiisip para palaguin yung pera mo, and of course, intelligence is also related to power. Most people who are highly intelligent easily get positions in the government. They can easily get to positions of power. Nagiging presidente, nagiging vice-presidente, nagiging executive secretary, so on and so forth. Again, kaya ang implication niyan, if you want to improve the quality of your life, anong gagawin mo? Pataasin mo yung intelligence mo. In fact, even the Bible agrees na isa sa mga bagay na dapat ipairalin mo sa buhay mo is you live your life intelligently, also known as wisely. Yan yung opening verse natin. Be careful how you live, not as unwise, but as wise. Commandment pala yun. No? Na dapat, kung paano tayo mamuhay, pinupuno natin ng intelligence. We should be making intelligent behaviors, intelligent decisions. Huwag tayong mamumuhay na mababa yung level ng intelligence natin. Yun yung tinatawag niyang unwise. Dalawang categories yan unwise and wise. So if you want to follow God's word, what should you do? Pataasin mo yung intelligence mo so you can live your life wisely. Why does the Bible want us to live our life wisely? Anong sagot? Going back to my previous slide, kasi nga, God wants our life to be very useful and valuable. And one way to do that is to increase the level of our intelligence. Kaya nga kahit sa election kahit sa leadership and governance, related yung idea na yan. If we want to have a better country, ano ang dapat natin gawin? Bumoto tayo ng mga leaders that are high in intelligence. Mga magagaling mag-solve ng problema, mga magagaling sumagot ng mga tanong. So sana, kapag bumoboto kayo, isa sa mga standards nyo for voting a leader is someone na mataas ang level of intelligence. After all, that's their job. Yung mga politiko, kaya sila nasa pwesto sa gobyerno, yan yung pinaka-essence. Kaya sila nasa pwesto because they will solve problems and answer questions for us, the citizens, para gumanda yung quality of life natin. So again, sana, yan yung hanapin natin sa mga politiko bago tayo bumoto. Sino sa kanila ang pinaka-maayos, pinaka-decente ang level of intelligence that they can answer problems and questions in connection to the following problems: health, poverty, crime, peace. Ang problema, kapag bumoboto tayo ng mga leaders na mababa sa intelligence, ano nangyayari? Mali-mali yung sagot nila sa mga problems na yan. Mali-mali yung solutions nila. Ano nangyayari? Bumabagsak yung quality of life of people in our country. So I hope you see the connection between intelligence and the quality of life in a certain country. Pero, this is very interesting. May nabasa akong study, hindi rin pala maganda na sobrang taas ang intelligence mo, because this article shows to us na may mga taong sobrang taas ng intelligence, mas mataas din yung chance nila for certain psychological disorders. Kaya ang lesson dito, when it comes to intelligence, wag din naman yung sobrang taas. Siguro ang ideal level nito is average to above average. Kasi may payoff, may kapalit. Sobrang talino mo, magkakaroon ka ng, sabi sa study na to, certain psychological issues. More about this in the future. Gagawa natin ng lecture yan. Anong connect ng mataas masyado ang intelligence mo sa mental health mo? Number 2, sana ma-realize ninyo, given the definition of intelligence, na ikaw mismo matalino ka. No? In fact, going back to those questions I've asked you a while ago, balikan natin, I'm sure halos lahat naman sa inyo nasagot ng tama yung mga questions and problems na yan. Kahit isa lang dyan ang masagot mo ng tama, anong ibig sabihin yan? That gives you the right na ang isang adjective na pwede mong ikabit sa sarili mo is you are intelligent. Why am I emphasizing this? Kasi in my observation, lalo na as a teacher, napansin ko marami mga tao hindi sila naniniwala na matalino sila. It's one of the last words people would attach to themselves, yung word na intelligent. Tanong, bakit? Saan nanggaling yung ganong mababang efficacy? Hindi ka ganon kakumbinsido na matalino ka. Why? Because most people today, they have a very traditional view of what it means to be intelligent. Now, very big word to in the field of intelligence research, traditional view. Ito yung view of intelligence na naniniwala ka na yung katalinuhan ng tao depende yan sa school performance niya. Diyan nakabase yung definition mo ng intelligence. Kapag mataas ang grade, kapag laging kasama sa quiz bee, kapag laging tinatawag ni teacher, laging 10/10 sa 1/4 sheet of paper na quiz, most likely, matalino yan. Ang problema, you don't remember yourself being like this. Hindi ka naman pinapadala sa quiz bee, hindi naman ikaw yung valedictorian, hindi naman ikaw yung salutatorian, hindi naman ikaw yung cum laude. So, ang conclusion mo sa sarili mo, because I am not performing that well in school, I am not intelligent. Mali yan. That is a very narrow view of intelligence. Sa Tagalog, makitid. Very limited. Kaya buti pa si Einstein, kahit genius, tama ang pananaw niya sa intelligence. Everybody is a genius, he said. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. In the traditional view of intelligence, not everybody is a genius. Only a few are geniuses. Sa traditional view. At sino yung few na yon? Yung mga nasa first section lagi. Yung mga nerds. Yung mga nakaka-imbento ng time machine. Siyempre, I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. Sila lang yung geniuses. And not all people, very few people are like that. Hindi agree si Einstein. Lahat ng taong nakikita mo ngayon can be considered a genius. Hindi lang lumalabas yung pagka-genius nila. Bakit? Ano sabi niya sa quotable quote niya? Kasi mali yung test na ginagamit natin to judge whether someone is a genius or not. Kasi yung tinetest mo isda, pero yung tool na ginagamit mo para itest kung magaling siyang isda, mali. Itest mo ba naman yung isda by its ability to climb a tree, talagang babagsak yung isda because fishes are not created by God to climb trees. Babagsak talaga yung isda sa test na yan. And so, you will conclude that the fish is not intelligent. I hope you see the connection. Ganun din yung problema natin in our society today. We have a very limited way of understanding, of defining what being smart means. Binabase lang natin yung katalinuhan ng tao sa tools na ginagamit ng eskwelahan, such as different academic tests. Anong grade mo sa 1/4 sheet of paper? Anong grade mo nung midterm exam? Anong grade mo nung final exam? Ano ang CGPA mo? Mababa, therefore you're not smart. Hindi dapat ganon. We need to broaden it up. We need to expand how we define intelligence. Kaya nga, yan yung sagot ni Howard Gardner in his multiple intelligences theory. Kaya nga niya ginawa yan. Gusto niya siya yung sasagot sa ganong problema. Palawakin natin yung definition natin ng intelligence, wag lang natin i-define yung intelligence based on academic skills. So gumawa siya ng different types of intelligences, also known as multiple intelligences. I highly recommend you read his books para mas marami kayong malaman tungkol sa multiple intelligences theory. Yan, sinulat ni Gardner yung mga books na yan, Frames of Mind, Multiple Intelligences. Again, ang pinaka-bottom line niya dito is, dapat nating irespeto, i-value yung iba't ibang mga forms of intelligences, hindi yung limited lang tayo sa mga intelligences na tinitignan sa eskwelahan. Such as, ano ba yung mga intelligences na favorite ng mga colleges and universities. Andyan ang verbal linguistic, logico-mathematical. Yan dalawang yan. Talagang halos lahat ng courses in colleges, yan yung binavalue. Paano naman kung yung bata magaling sa naturalist? Paano kung yung bata magaling sa bodily kinesthetic? In our education system today, hindi yan masyadong binavalue. There are other ways to be intelligent outside the school. Yan yung isa pang implication yan eh. Pwedeng hindi ka nakapag-aral, hindi ka nagtapos, pero intelligent ka pa rin. And speaking of outside school, sino yung mga taong kakilala mo na hindi naman nakatapos, pero matalino? Marami yan, for sure. Like for example, si Bill Gates. We all agree, he's intelligent. Pero, hindi naman siya nagtapos ng eskwelahan. Hindi yung eskwelahan yung nagsabi na intelligent siya. Bagsakin nga siya, sabi niya mismo when he was inside the school system, I failed in some subjects in exam, but my friend passed in all. So yung friend niya magaling sa academic world, siya hindi. Now he is an engineer in Microsoft. Si Bill Gates, I am the owner of Microsoft. And he became an owner of Microsoft outside the definition of the academic world on what it means to be smart. Posibleng maging matalino ka kahit hindi sinabi ng eskwelahan na matalino ka. Other than Bill Gates, we also remember the following people. Diba, hindi naman sila talagang nagstay in the education setting Andyan si Mark Zuckerberg, andyan si Steve Jobs, our very own Manny Pacquiao, although nagtapos na ng college si Senator Manny, but we have to appreciate that these people, although they are not academically gifted, yung iba pa nga dyan, drop out, posible pa rin maging matalino ang isang tao. Because again, paulit-ulit ako dito, pero mahalaga itong sinasabi ni Gardner, there are other varieties of intelligences that cannot be captured. Hindi kayang masukat, hindi kayang makita inside the four corners of the classroom. At dapat pa rin nating i-acknowledge, i-value yung mga types of intelligences na yan. Kaya ang St. Benilde answered that call. Many students ask me, ano pinagkaiba ng Benilde from LaSalle? Ang Benilde, mas diverse, mas inclusive when it comes to what types of intelligences are being nurtured inside the school. Kumbaga, ang St. Benilde, marami kaming mga courses dito. Ito yung sinasabi ng Benilde, marami kaming mga academic programs dito that are not traditionally being offered, but here we offer. Bakit? Because they value inclusivity, and that includes different types of intelligences. Kumbaga, ang sinasabi ng Benilde sa mga magulang, kahit ano pang katalinuhan, kahit anong klase ng katalinuhan meron ng anak ninyo, dalhin nyo sa curriculum namin, we have a program for your child. Yan. Ganyan ka-diverse, ganyan ka-inclusive yung curriculum ng St. Benilde. Okay? So, that's the first implication, na dapat talaga baguhin mo yung baguhin mo yung pananaw mo. Baguhin mo yung pananaw mo na ikaw mismo matalino ka. So, wag mong iisipin na hindi ka matalino. Kaya mo lang iniisip na hindi ka matalino kasi nga, going back, napaka-limited lang nung pananaw mo on what it means to be smart. Okay? So, last 2 points under the second implication, high grade is not necessary to be intelligent. Tandaan natin yan. Hindi porket mababa ang grade mo sa school, ang conclusion mo hindi ka matalino. Pwedeng mababa ang grades mo sa school. Pwedeng bagsak ka sa school. Pero hindi ibig sabihin nun, hindi ka matalino, maybe because, ba't ganon? Number 1, baka tamad ka lang mag-aral, or number 2, yung intelligence mo hindi nakaka-capture ng mga pangyayari, ng mga tools na ginagamit ng traditional school. And bullet number 2, also under implication number 2, school training is not necessary to be intelligent. Uulit-ulitin ko to because this is very important. Huwag natin minamaliit yung mga tao na hindi nakapagtapos. Huwag natin minamaliit yung mga tao na walang school experience, lalong-lalo sa Pilipinas. Kapag narinig mong out of school youth, parang automatic meron kang thinking na hindi to matalino, hindi to nakapag-aral. Mali. Marami mga tao na hindi nakapag-aral sa universities or colleges pero mas matalino pa sa mga taong nakapag-aral. Masakit mang aminin pero totoo. Kaya, for those of you na medyo ganyan ang tingin, dahil nakapag-eskwela ka, mas matalino ka, sa mga taong hindi nakapag-eskwela, it's time to change that mindset. Diba? And for those people na nakikinig nito na wala namang school experience, good news yan. Kasi hindi porket hindi ka nakapag-eskwelahan, ibig sabihin, hindi ka na magiging matalino. Kasi marami mga tao hindi nakapag-aral pero matalino sa tunay na buhay. Diba? We hear news like this. Dating vendor, dating basurero, dating tambay, pero they made a choice to improve on their intelligence outside the school. Naging successful sila. Pinagtiyagaan nila pataasin yung intelligence nila, umasenso sila. Kaya ang isa pang lesson dito, para sa mga tao dyan na nasa eskwelahan, pag na-gets nyo tong principle na to, ang dapat ma-develop sa inyo is humility. Huwag tayong mayabang bilang mga taong nakapag-aral. Huwag nating minamaliit yung mga taong hindi nakapag-aral. Kasi kahit sa labas ng universidad, sa labas ng kolehiyo, meron pa rin mga katalinuhan na dapat nating irespeto at dapat nating i-appreciate. Hindi lang yung puro lang tayo libro, puro lang tayo grade natin sa mga transcripts natin. Ang isang taong walang transcript of records kasi hindi siya nakapag-aral, pwede pa rin matalino yan. After all, di ba? Napaka-antay ko talaga sa eskwelahan na minomonopolize yung katalinuhan. Hindi naman eskwelahan ang source ng intelligence ng tao eh. Intelligence came from our Creator. From God Himself. So wag nating hayaan yung eskwelahan yung nagmo-monopolize, yung kumbaga nagko-control, nagdidictate kung sino yung matalino sa hindi. Although hindi ko sinasabing wag mag-eskwelahan, hindi ko sinasabing hindi valid yung sinasabi ng schools kung sino yung intelligent sa hindi, no? Because they have these very good tools that they use, no? Ang sinasabi ko lang, hindi dapat limited. Inside the school system, yung pag-determine kung sinong matalino sa hindi. God defines who is intelligent. And why does He define who is intelligent? Because He created intelligence. He Himself is intelligent. So dapat ang definition natin ng intelligence should transcend what the education system is telling us. Okay? So grabe, part 1 pa lang ha. Part 1 pa lang ng intelligence. Marami na tayong natutunan. In part 2, again, ang focus natin, given all these things we know about intelligence, ano yung mga pwede natin gawin para pataasin yan, abangan nyo yung lecture ko dyan. If you have any questions or comments, ilagay nyo lang dyan sa comment section. Sana nakatulong tong lecture na to in helping you understand the nature of intelligence in a deeper way. Sir Howard here, hanggang sa susunod na lecture. God bless everyone. Bye-bye.